can't just be having class and, looking good and sporadic, brilliant performances. Because of the pressure from outside, the amount of options India have with regards to batting, consistency, the most difficult thing to achieve is what he has to aim for.
What is also the struggle when you're returning from an injury like that and surgery? I mean, mentally you're under that sort of pressure because you look at the bench and Shreyas and Surya sitting there,
yep.
and Ishan is maybe batting alongside. Yeah, and mentally then returning from an injury, do you trust your body enough? I mean, you spoke a lot about that.
Look, I think first of all he's very lucky that he gets supported by the selectors, he gets supported by the team fellows. He's always been welcomed. So that really, first box tick, because you want that environment where I am, being asked to come and welcome and all that. But yeah, he's a class act. He's the kind of batsman who, as Sanjay said, bat at any number, and keeps a wicket, utility cricketer. So you would love to have someone like him in the side, especially I would say one-day cricket. I know his numbers are like different variation when you bat him at different numbers, but I would love to have him in the side because you can open him, bat him 4, 5, even 6. He's such a classy batsman.
And going through a slightly difficult phase of his career, I know fitness is one issue. He's lost his place in the test side, which is a big blow. I mean, considering that he's captain
and after
India.
leading.
Yeah, and in South Africa, and I thought it was very impressive as captain. In the first test, as captain in South Africa, he gets 100 and a 50 opening innings, and South African pitches continue to test Indian batters even today. A lot of foreign pitches have become easier, but South Africa not easy. And now he's not in the test side. After the T20 World Cup, he's lost that place as well. So you can see he's getting a little cornered. The wiggle room has reduced. So every match now, the pressure will build, and that's a slightly difficult phase for a senior player to feel the pressure of, his place in the side. It's a horrible feeling.
But if I look at a bigger picture, I would say India is very lucky to have these problems, because if you got so many good players sitting on the bench or waiting back home, they're looking for the spot, and they're keeping all these senior players or good players on their toes.
Yeah.
That means the team is doing well. That means you're up there at the top. So that is a really good sign. But yeah, KL Rahul, I really like him. I think some of the innings he's played a real class. He's a very touch player. No complication in his batting. Very simple but very elegant.
And of course, we want you to send in some questions. Use the hashtag #AskStar. Problems, as you said, problems of plenty. I really wonder when it goes more towards problems than just plenty. When you're approaching a World Cup, Sanjay, one of the questions coming in is, it's at the moment a back spasm for Shreyas Iyer. But with that, already people are asking whether Sanju Samson should be back in the side as a cover for the World Cup. So nothing like that has been announced yet. We don't have the update on Shreyas Iyer. But there is problems of plenty ahead of a World Cup then, Sanjay. If you don't have your middle order settled, would you like it settled, or would you like to be flexible with these 3-4 players that you have?
See, when you hear the Indian captain talk in press conferences, you can see the anguish when he's talking. With regards to players' fitness. Rahul Dravid as well. Frustrated as coach that he's never got his best 15 players fit.
And we're seeing this with Rishabh Pant, who had something horrific happen, is on the way to recovery, so he's not even in the picture at the moment.
And KL Rahul, there was a long wait. We were all excited that he'll be there for the Asia Cup, and then the niggle comes. It's a Sanju Samson as cover. To answer that question, I don't think Sanju Samson as cover is needed because KL Rahul is fit, and the spasm, spasm, it takes about 48 hours to...
Well, I heard Wasim's version of the spasm also. About half an hour back.
Having no spasm.
The two versions of the spasm. I heard it right here. This is not the cricket I powered by Hamad.
So it's not such a big thing, and fortunately, you can change your team till the 29th if there's a fitness issue. Plus, during the World Cup as well. If it happens on the day of the game, one of your key players is injured who's not replaceable, then you have a problem. And that's why India want 2 keepers in the squad, because the last thing you want is a KL Rahul. You've got 2 keepers, so there's a cover. But Shreyas Iyer will